Good morning, everyone.
Morning, KD.
Good morning.
Morning, Rahul.
Good morning, KD.
Morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Eddie.
Very good morning, everyone. Okay. Will we get started?
Yes, sir.
Yes, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back. Sorry for that 2 days of pause. Thank you for accepting. And finally, we are back again. I think others are joining, but let's get started, sir, just to keep this time on track and being on. Is my audio okay?
Yeah.
Yes, Eddie.
Yeah.
Okay, done. Then we still have people coming by, but let's get started. I'm sharing my screen. Just give me a minute. So, as there is a pause of few days, right? I mean, assume count from here. I'll quickly, not more than 5 minutes, I will take to talk about more than 5 minutes. I'll take to talk about just a quick 5-minute revision, if you all are okay. Ready? Not more than 5 minutes. So the first 2 sessions that we did was all about the story of SQL Server. Okay, Microsoft was not a database company. We all discussed. Microsoft was 200% a operating system company, Windows operating system, not Windows, but they used to make operating systems like Android, Apple, make operating systems, Windows, Unix, all these are different operating systems in the world. So they were making operating systems. So why did they enter into, or why did they venture into database? The only reason is in 1985, Microsoft and IBM companies. So I'm giving a glance story. Okay, I'll make it fast for some of the people who are joining new, and plus just a quick walk for others also. So Microsoft and IBM, 2 companies joined together in that 1985, and they wanted to make operating systems at that time. Somehow, because of some issues, they were not happy. They both developed one operating system called OS2. OS2 is the operating system name. Okay, and I think I showed you this slides also, that there was a legal issue between both the companies. The discussion, they made a software. You see at the bottom, this is the software they made, but somehow legal issues came by. They were not happy. So finally they departed. Okay, but Microsoft saw that, the reason why they departed is because if you notice, IBM sold OS2 operating system with a free offer. Free in the sense they gave database free with it. So people started buying aggressively IBM software itself. So Microsoft felt like, oh, okay, so database has got a demand. So let us enter into database market. In simple words, this is how you can talk. Got it, sir? And then when you know the story, so Microsoft turned towards another company. Microsoft has no expertise about databases at that time. They were not that well equipped or well enriched, well educated about databases. So they turned towards one company called Sybase. So Sybase and Microsoft did again a partnership, and they developed one database software. That is SQL Server that we are learning today. And so actually, one more company was also there. I did not tell in our discussions. There's another company called Ashton Tate. But this is not a technical company. They were mainly for marketing. That company was only for marketing, meaning Microsoft and Sybase will make the software. Ashton Tate will market it. Okay, anyway, sir. Ashton Tate felt like there is no big business for them. So they dropped. And Microsoft and Sybase continued. Okay, and they developed SQL Server. So the database software we are learning now actually comes from the origin, comes from Sybase. Okay, good, sir. And I think if you are clear, then why to waste time? Again, so this is a timeline. Okay, what happened when timelines. So I'll directly take you to the point. So SQL Server, so SQL Server, this is the version story. SQL Server 1.0 came, then 1.1 came, then 4.2 came. Okay, in that 4.2a is also there, 4.2b is also there. Then 4.21 came, then 6.0 came, then 6.5 came, then 7.0 came, then 2000 came. So here in the year 1990 and 2000, they made the game change, strategic plans. They thought, now onwards, we will not call it as SQL Server 6.0, 6.5, 7.0. Let's call with the year. So then they started calling SQL Server 2000. And after 2000, sir, 2005, then 8, then 8R2, then 12, then 14, then 16, then 17, and then 19. And now 2022 is going to be released. This is versions of SQL Server. I also told you earlier, sir, please be aware of the versions of SQL Server. All the versions must be on our fingertips. But from which version? From 2005 is sufficient, because anyways, 2005 is also a dead product. Now 2005 is not a valid software. 2008 is also dead, sir. 8R2 also are dead. So technically speaking, if you ask me what is trending now, obviously 19. But sir, hey, I'll ask a simple question, sir. There is a new bike released in the market, be it men or be it women, or a new car is getting released in the market. Will people, cars are little exception, keep it aside, bikes. A new bike is entering in the market. Will you go and purchase on the first or second day of the release?
No.
No.
Anybody yes? Anyone saying yes here? Okay, I'll go and purchase on the day 1 or day 2 or day 3. Anyone, any experimental person. Normally 90% of the people, only 10% maybe there. So yes, maybe some of us are experimental. We want to go and take it, or want to be the first buyers, right? The pride of the first, I purchased it first. Okay, fine. But sir, 90% of the people will not, because you never know what issues are there. So all men know, I don't have to tell you and reiterate, when Bajaj Pulsar was released initially, it was in flop model, Bajaj Pulsar, because of some issue, tank issue. I'll come to the point directly. So then later on they fixed it and somehow it became better and successful. So initial buyers, right, sir? So that what I'm saying is, sir, SQL Server 2019 was released in which year? 2019, COVID time. But now what is this year, sir? 2022, right? So normally what happens, sir? People's usage will be, so for example, this year 2022 releases, some companies are experimental, will go ahead and install the latest version and start playing with it. Some companies will do what, sir? They will take time, properly test it, properly evaluate it, and then install. So technically speaking, in your office, by now, sir, by now in all the offices, 2019 would have become official version because it's been 3 years. So normally we use the software. Katie, do you have 2022 in your office? How, sir? It's still not released. So are you planning for it? Yes, we are ready. But will you implement on servers directly? No. We will take at least some 6 months, 7 months of testing of the software. Application teams also will test. Once everybody gives a sign off after 6 months or 7 months, then we will use. So officially, sir, by now in all companies, 2019 is there. But sir, because of some issues, we also use older versions. So yes, so if you ask me, Katie, what do you have in your office? So we have 19, we have 17, we have 16, we have 14, some 12, we have 8 R2 also, we have 2005 also we have. So leave all that, 6.5 also we have. 6.5 is which year, sir? Such a old software. What are you doing? Have you gone crazy? No, no, no. So we have not gone crazy. Our application teams or developers who are using this software, they have gone crazy. We told them 200 times, boss, old version, let's upgrade, let's upgrade, let's upgrade. They will not listen because they have their own problems, which we will discuss in future. There is a topic called upgradation and migration. In that, you can check the curriculum if you want. It will come later. We will discuss there. But sir, today is not upgradation migration, but so do not be any. I think friends who are working here, can you please give your input, sir? Which is the oldest version you have in your office environment? Can somebody comment?
2000.
Okay, you have 2000. Okay, good. Anyone else wants to comment? Nobody wants to comment. Okay, done. Perfect. So anyway, sir, 2000 for somebody. 6.5 for us, 6.5 is pathetic. Actually, so 6.5 is also dead. 7. So Microsoft kills the software after some time. Kills the software means I'll do one thing. Not to waste time, but I want to show you something. So go to Google, search for SQL Server. So product life cycle. So anyone, you also can Google now, SQL Server product life cycle. When you Google for it, so you will get a Microsoft link, which will tell you, 1 second, so it's loading. Yeah, which will tell you, is this the one? 1 minute. Sir. Give me a minute. I think maybe I'm not looking at this right one. Yeah, so sorry, not the first one, the next link, sir. Okay, sir, leave it. Search for Microsoft product lifecycle. Is this better? Not SQL Server, sir. Microsoft product lifecycle, because all Microsoft products will be listed here. So now in this page, come down and see, look at this one, sir. These are all the Microsoft product lifecycle. So do you all have Internet Explorer on your systems now? I'm sure some of you might be having, right? So start date is 2013, and Microsoft has officially announced that they are this year, right? 14th of June, they are doing what, sir? They are retiring. They are killing Internet Explorer. They will not use this software anymore. They are requesting everybody to move to Edge. Edge is the new Microsoft browser, like Chrome that you have. Edge is another browser. Okay. Anyways, so you can see all Microsoft products here. Of course, SQL Server is listed. So in that, so just search for what you want. So shall I search for SQL Server? Somebody said 2000, right? So I will go with 2000 option and search, sir. When you search, okay, 2000 option is also not available. So okay, 2005 I will search SQL Server. Yeah, look at this one, sir. 2006 it was released, official release, and 2016 the product is dead. So 16 itself it is dead. And now, chalo, do a 8. So SQL Server 2008 and 8 are two are same family. 2019 it is dead, sir. 2009. That means both are dead products. So 2000, am I right? Yeah. Okay. So in search for 2012, sir. 2012 somehow is still about to die in a month. So you tell me, sir, what is the average span of every software, SQL Server software? You do the calculation and tell me.
10 years.
10 years. 10 years max. Post 10 years, any software has to get old. So the lifespan of SQL Server product is 10 years. Okay. So anyway, sir, let's check 2019, the latest one. 2022 is yet to come. Yeah, look at this one, sir. 2030, it is going to die. And last one, sir, 2022 also you check if you want. It's not released yet. Any questions? Then I move back, sir. Just Google for Microsoft product life cycle.
So Sandhya here. Like
Yes, sir.
if it is dead means we won't be installing, or what is the saying of dead?
Okay, so the actual meaning of dead is that, sorry, I think I should have told it. Thank you for asking. The actual meaning of dead is you can still use the software on your own risk. If any issues occur, if any bugs occur, if any problems occur, Microsoft says that we are not responsible. Let's say for latest version products, if you have a problem, you can knock the door and say, hey, Microsoft, I have a problem, please support. Of course, they may charge you for the support, but at least they will support. They will say, oh, okay, you have this issue. Okay, this is a solution, try this. They'll give support. That support is what I'm saying. Out of warranty products that we have in our house, same thing. And sir, by the way, 10 years is not the total lifespan, sir. By the way, I purchased a TV now, okay? A TV, so listen, TV I have purchased. Every TV will have 1 year default warranty. Now, sir, if you paid an extra ransom, extra money, and said that I want 1 more year extended warranty, so that option is also available. So basic warranty, then an extended warranty. Sir, if you want, if Sony or some companies give even more extended warranty, you can purchase. So like that, sir. Even for SQL Server products, let me go for 2019 one. So just a minute. Just watch this. You're done. Sorry for taking your time. Yeah. So I clicked on that 2019 link. Now watch. So look at this one. Officially 2019 it started. Mainstream end support. So there are two supports. Okay, mainstream support and then extended support. So up 20 to 5 years is a mainstream support, approximately 5 to 6 years, and then extended support is for another 5 years. So all data is with you. You can Google and find out. That's all. If mainstream technically means that the ideal, I mean, you paid some money, right? So, but of course, SQL Server is a paid software. So when you pay and purchase it, this is a typical mainstream support, meaning officially the main support. I mean, 1 year like TV and then extended. So main support for 5 years. Main warranty and extended warranty. Yes, please. Yes, Sandhya. So Sandhya, to answer your question in one line, dead means Microsoft will not talk to you anymore. If you call Microsoft and say, I have a problem with SQL Server 2005, they will say, thank you for calling Microsoft. Have a nice day. Don't call us next time. So that's it.
Suppose if our data is stored in a 2001 or 2000 thing, we are using some development team and we are storing it in the 2000 SQL Server. Then what about the data if we are not using, Microsoft is not using that one, but still our development is using the same thing. So they will migrate it to?
Yeah, no, they will not migrate. Obviously, it's our responsibility. That's why we have a topic called upgradation and migration in level 3. In level 3, we have a topic. So we will be doing it. There are different ways of upgrading the software or migrating the software. And but what good question you have raised. See, product dead is okay. But what about the data that I have kept in it? So my data is still in the older version. How do I protect it? That's your question, right? So definitely, only way to protect is migrate it to the latest version, upgradation, migration. In that topic, we will see in detail.
Okay.
And my name is KD. So please don't call me sir.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So moving on, everyone. Yeah. So I think just one last thing. I said 5 minutes, right? We crossed 15 minutes. Okay. Let us go a little fast now. So code names are there, but you don't need to care about it. So SQL Server 1.0 is Philippi, Plet, what was that? Pietro, SQL NT, SQL NT for Hydra, Sphinx, but meaning every software except for SQL Server 2016, sir. I don't know why Microsoft did not put a code name for it, but for remaining all softwares, for everything, there is a code name. Code name in the sense, just a nickname before alias name before starting the project. Officially, when project releases, they call with the version number. Okay, that's all, sir. So technically, what is SQL Server, sir? SQL Server, the course that you are learning, is a database software. So it's your job, my job, our job to manage these databases safely, protect them, preserve them, bodyguard them, whatnot. So take end-to-end care of them. Huh? So again, if you ask me a simple definition of database software, it's a software where you can store data, where you can retrieve data, meaning read data, delete data, update data, whatnot, modify, update. So you can use the software to make changes to the database. This software's main responsibility is to store data. That's all, sir. No more wasting time. Let's move on. So there are components of SQL Server. I'm not going to repeat all the components anyways, but whoever missed the classes, there are components of SQL Server. The components of SQL Server are, there are 4. So SQL Server means not only database. SQL Server is beyond databases. When I say beyond databases, we have database services, we have analysis services, we have integration services, and we have reporting services. So 4 categories we have, so meaning different people use this database software for different purpose. So first of all, sir, SSDS, database services, means you store data in it. What data? Typical data, customer data. So let's say your data for KDSSG is also important. Your name, your phone number, your email ID. So we may store all that data in a Excel sheet, basic Excel, or we may store it in one database software, whatever we use like. So that's it. So or DMart, I always give the same example. DMart has got hell lots of customers, crores of customers. All that data they have to store somewhere. DMart generates lots of transactions. All that transaction data they have to store somewhere. Let me mute everybody. Yeah, and then DMart also does inventory management, stock management, sir. Hell lots of stock they have, stock database. So DMart example itself, if you take, they have different types of databases they have to manage. So they use databases. So these are all competitors. Microsoft SQL Server is the main product, but Oracle, Sybase, DB2, Postgres, Ingress, Teradata, MySQL, SAP HANA, the list is long. There are many more. All these are databases. So SQL Server database services. Analysis services stores what, sir? You tell me. Historical data. Historical data means latest data, last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Last 1 to 5 years data you will store in database services. Any older data, sir, very old data, like 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, all that old data you can store in analysis services. So database means latest data will be stored in database services. Historical data will be stored in analysis services. Now, so for some reason, you want latest data also, and you want old data also. I give an example to all of you that IBM is one company, 700 years old history. They want to make a graph of their sales, from the latest to the old. They want to make a graph of their sales. So what do? They will collect the last 5 years data, latest data, and they collect all the 95 years data, take all and keep in one place. That is called as SSIS. SSIS means SQL Server Integration Services, which will go help integrate, meaning that data, this data, extract, put them together, transform, make some changes, and keep the data ready. So ETL, it's called as Extract, Transform, Load tool. SSIS will help in extracting data from different places and keep in one place. And last one, sir, reporting services. Business can make some nice reports if they want. All analysis services, SSIS, SSRS, all these three are called as
Business tools.
correct. And there is a name for that. Products all put together.
Business intelligence.
Tools.
Correct, sir.
Business intelligence.
Business intelligence. It's called as MSBI, Microsoft Business Intelligence. MSBI. Just quoting it again. It's called as, these three products are called as MSBI. So this course is not about MSBI. We will not be doing all this. So this course is all about databases. So just be aware that MSBI is a separate job and people do separate training and work on it. Okay, that's all, sir. So if somebody has missed the session, there is a recording available. Please watch the previous sessions and you will understand more in detail. Okay, so let's move on now. So this is what we were discussing on last Wednesday. Am I right? Wednesday, this is what we started. And now let's continue the conversation from here. So first of all, till now we talked about what, sir? History of SQL Server. We talked about what are the different versions of SQL Server. We talked about different components of SQL Server. Components are database services, analysis services, integration services, reporting services. Versions you already know, I'll not repeat. And so we also talked about the story, why Microsoft made a software called SQL Server. These three things we have talked till now. So now let's go back in the past, extremely past, not 1985, okay? Not 1985. 1985, Microsoft started SQL Server or started the journey towards SQL Server. I am talking before 1985. Almost 60s. We are going back to 60s. Nowadays, Hollywood movies have this, you know, they are not making sequels. They are making prequels. So prequels before the movie. So yeah. So anyways, a history of databases and database software. So before Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, all these wonderful companies came and made database software. All before this, there were a lot of challenges. We traveled through a big journey. So data was stored in different places earlier. On the cave paint, starting with the ancient Stone Age, we stored data in the cave paintings. We stored in the tally sticks, talapatras. We stored on the pre-form of papyrus, paper. We started using punched cards. We started using magnetic holograph disks. Then we started using hard disks. Then we started using, of course, different storage units, pen drives or floppy disks or so all storage we have traveled through. So, and finally today we are on SSDs, solid state disks, which are very, very fast. So this story also we talked. Please watch in that recording if anybody has missed it. And that's also. So now finally storage also evolved, sir. Softwares also evolved. When I say softwares are evolved, people used to store data in a simple, silly, stupid notepad. That's what I call it. Simple, silly, stupid notepad, where you don't have big brains. You can store the data just tick, 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 tick.
One question here. You talked about SSD. Like, what is the next thing going to come after SSD? So, yeah, you gave us some assignment that day that find out what is coming after SSD. So, we are waiting for your answer on that.
Okay, sir. There you go. So that day on Thursday itself, right? No, Wednesday. Wednesday we talked about the latest and the greatest disks that we are using today is SSD. SSD is like fastest, whether in NASA systems or in robotics or outer space or aerospace research, everywhere. So SSDs are making a big entry. So the new technology that they are introducing, which is faster than SSD, is 3D crosspoint. Okay, 3D crosspoint. So you will see, so maybe a technology that will be even aggressively coming up with an extreme speed, where they will be much faster than SSDs. 3D crosspoint. I said
Katie, what I found out, like I was just searching that thing, like I found out that there is something called as RAM, that is resistive random access memory.
Absolutely, 200%. So look at this one. So look at this. So actually, somebody said the answer on that day. I don't know who it was. They said, Katie, is it NVMe technology? I said, kind of, but not the exact word, but NVMe technology, sir. Correct. See, so all of you. Remember, sir, I told that hard disk uses a spindle, meaning hard disks that we are using, all the hard disks. If you open the hard disk and see inside, if I technically tear it apart and don't have a screwdriver, but I can show you. This is a gone hard disk. So if I open this hard disk and show you inside, so definitely there will be a spindle. Disk rotates. There'll be a reading thread on this one, which will read the data like a gramophone. Same way. Hard disks are designed like that, sir. But SSDs are flash memory. And this technology that we are talking, sir, is even next level. See, 3D cross point, sir, pronounced 3D cross point. Don't say 3D X point, it is called as 3D cross point. Is a NVMe technology developed jointly by Intel and Micron technology. This Micron is a company which is famous for disks and all. So Intel and Micron are developing it together. 2015, they announced it, sir. Optane is the brand name that they are officially calling it in 2017. And sir, this is a different type of storage, which will be extremely faster is the claim. So I don't know the reasons behind or the technology, how it works. I am not aware. I may have to read it. But because you asked this question, I just wanted you to know. Any questions? Sir, one more update. They are coming up with enhancement for this one, sir. Maybe if you read this blog, I'll put this link in our chat. If you want to read it later. I'll do it in a minute. Yes, sir. So again, not wasting time. Can I go back, please? So storage evolved. Hard disks became from very slow to the fastest now. Like that, sir. Like storage evolved. Softwares also evolved. First, we used a software called basic software called editor. It's not even called as notepad. Nowadays, we are calling it notepad. In olden days, it was called as editor. Just open the software, type your data. What is the risk, sir? The risk?
Redundancy.
You will not have proper formatting. Data will not be in proper order. Second, sir, nowadays, latest notepads have search option. See, I open a latest notepad, right, sir? And I will dump some data into it, right? Just dump some data. If you press F5 in a notepad, it will type the dates. That's why I'm dumping data. I'll store KD in the middle, right? And then again, I'll put date and time. So now if I search for Control F, we have search option and put type KD and find, found it. So this search functionality was there for is there for notepads now, but in olden days, 1960s or somewhere at that time, there was no search functionality available for flat files. Okay, sir. But anyways, one option, and by the way, so redundancy, duplication of data. If I type KD data once, I may type by mistake KD one more time. I may by mistake type Akshay one more time. So duplication is also problems. Then came word processors. Word processors gave one relief, sir, search. You can search in the word processors. One relief only. Still you have formatting problem. Still you have duplication, data duplication problems. Then came Excel spreadsheets. So Excel is the latest one. Old spreadsheets look like this. But again, sir, they have resolved two issues. One is data is in proper order. Can you see? Data is stored in proper order. And formatting problem is resolved. Search option was also there, sir. Both issues resolved. And last one is duplication problem is still there. Data duplication. redundancy, sir. By mistake typing data again, it will not search. If I entered KD's information, if I try to re-enter, it will not say, hey, KD is already there, don't enter. It will not say. So that problems people have seen, duplication problem. Huh? And then, sir, then somebody proposed an idea called database. And then they said, hey, the world needs a product called database. And by creating database products, you can store data in it. And so database software is smart to identify if I enter once KD, if I enter KD second time, it will say, hey, you already have inserted, you can't insert second time. It throws you out. It errors your commands. It will not let you execute the second command again. That wonderful functions we have, capabilities we have. So that is why database has become famous. So after databases became famous, somebody decided as a cylinder shape. Cylinder shape is being recognized for databases. And then I told you this. Excuse me. This is a building in Bangalore. Oracle buildings are like that. Oracle is one company we should salute and appreciate that from the beginning they have been on databases from the beginning. Okay, done. Then again, this is evolution. So Notepad, word processors, Excel, Access, Microsoft SQL Server. This is Microsoft journey, sir. Whatever you are seeing, not general journey, Microsoft. Microsoft first created editors. Then Microsoft created word processors. Microsoft created Excels. Microsoft then created Access. Before SQL Server, what was the database in the market? Before SQL Server, what was Microsoft's database in the market? Access. MS Access is what they call it.
Access.
Yeah. So if you install Microsoft Office in your laptop, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access comes with it. If you have it, Access comes with it. So Access is a very small database. It cannot be big. It can be a small scale database. And then Microsoft finally introduced SQL Server. This is our SQL Server logo, mesh. Okay, done, sir. Anyways, so 1 second. So now world wants database fixed, right? The world wants database fixed. Perfect. What is it? World wants database is so fixed. Here is your database, cylinder shapes. So, sir, world just don't want database. The whole world wants beyond databases, meaning a proper system. So developers, let's say Lavanya is inserting some records. Lavanya wants to store data in the database. She wants to enter customer data into database. So Lavanya has one application, some applications. So she opens an application. She fills all the data. Customer number 1, customer name, customer address, all this data she is entering. So whatever data Lavanya enters through application goes through the DBMS system, database management system. It enters into your database. So technically what I am saying is, nobody can touch the database directly. So please listen, very important point. Nobody can touch the database directly. If you want to touch the database, you have to cross through DBMS software. So DBMS stands as a firewall. If you want to store some data, first tell me. I am the personal assistant. I am the pujari. I am the person. You talk to me. I am the representative. You talk to me, I will pass the data there. You cannot talk to database directly. This is the first condition. So look at this one. If you want to create a record, meaning insert some data, you want to query, meaning read data, you want to update, you want to modify, you want to manage, you want to backup, you want to do anything, sir, you must interact with DBMS only. You must not touch the database. So KD, where is database located? Database is located in the storage area, meaning in your hard disk. In simple words, database is a file, sir. In my hard disk, it's a file, but I am not supposed to touch the file. I am not supposed to access the file. Whatever I want to do, sir, I have to talk to DBMS system. So how do you talk to a DBMS system? You should know some language. You can't talk in English and say, hey, DBMS, store this record in the database. English doesn't work. So, sir, there is a language called SQL. These all they created later. Sir. There is a language called SQL. SQL means structured query language. That is the only way to interact with DBMS. So, should we be learning a language? Let me ask you all a simple question. So, how many of you know more than 5 languages here? 4, nowadays it's Chalta, but 5 languages, more than 5, above, equal to or more than 5? How many I know? English, Telugu, Hindi, Kannada. Oh, that's it. That's it, sir. No one here. People in Bangalore will know. People who are properly from Bangalore will definitely know more than 5 or 6 languages. Okay, sir. Chalo, it's okay. We don't know. So, learning a new language is always a tough thing. We all understand it. But sir, what we will do is we will not try to learn this so-called SQL at one go, not at one shot. Same way, sir. Typically, we start with letters and numbers and right. That reminds me of a joke. 20 years back when I came to Bangalore the first time, I went to a store. 20 years, I said, okay, let's 20 years back. I went to a shop and I asked how much are the tomatoes or something. He said, At rupai. At rupai means 10 rupees in Bangalore. I mean, Kannada. I don't know that language at that time. So then I said, Ad rupai. I heard like Ad rupai. Ad rupai means half rupee in Telugu. So I intertranslated. So technically I said, oh, give me 3 kgs. And then he said, give 30 rupees now. So technically, sir, language is tough to learn. We understand. What we will do is commands we will learn, sir, but gradually, slowly. Some of you are already good at it, experts at it. Fine. Whoever are not, so let me focus on you. Let's take baby steps and we will learn. So again, one last time I'm saying, sir, if you want to talk to a database in DBMS, you can't talk to the database directly. If you want to interact with DBMS.
Language.
Yeah, DBMS. And if you want to interact with DBMS, sir, there is definitely some protocols, some rules you have to follow, or grammar you have to follow, or a language you have to follow. That's all. If this point is
means what?
interact means I am telling, hey, I want to store one records. I want to store one employee information. I want to store my customer information in the database. I can't store directly. So the demo we will see. Demo we will see for everything. Till that time, so if you want to interact, if you want to store data in the database, you have to go through DBMS only. DBMS is a central system which is controlling everything. And if you, that is why, sir, when you insert employee number 1 information, again, you are inserting employee number 1. This guy knows, hey, you already inserted 1 just now. How dare you insert one more time? Error. So that is how this software was made. So because one central place, one person knows everything, it's easy. Can I move on now? Thank you, sir. So when this wonderful thought came, sir, like people thought, wow, DBMS system. So then different people came forward and said that, hey, let's implement. So by the way, first of all, this is a thought. This is not a software. So this protocol, the picture that you are seeing was an idea, not a working model. There was no working model in the beginning days. Somebody proposed and said, hey, let's make something like this. It's easy. This way we can store no duplicate data. This way we can search things fast. This way our database is also safe. Nobody is disturbing the database. So the multiple users can access it. Multiple people can access it. So all these ideas came. Sir. Then now it's time to implement. So they started with the first model called hierarchical model. So there were different data models proposed. Same DBMS. Sir. DBMS is the concept. Different models were proposed by the people in the sense scientists. So first model was hierarchical model. So let us take 2 minutes and talk about hierarchical model. So what is hierarchical model? So in hierarchical model, data, first of all, who proposed it? IBM was the company to make the hierarchical model. And look at the year, sir. I told you, right? The story goes back to not 1985, but before 85, 1960s. So in 1968, hierarchical model was announced by IBM company. So now we don't know who is the person who announced it, but they said, hey, when you are storing data, store in the form of tree structure, tree structure. So in the sense, parent node and there will be child node, store everything like a family tree, sir. Father, then again, son, daughter, whoever, and then again, son, daughter, or whoever, or daughter, son. So, you know, that hierarchical model. So they said, see, if you store data in hierarchical model, searching data is faster. They thought so, sir. They thought so that when you store data in a hierarchical tree, sir, its searching data is faster. But unfortunately, what happened, sir? It happened the other way. When data is small, no problem. But when data is more, sir, again, I'll ask you a simple question here. You tell me, how many of you know more than 5 generations back, sir? I need you to tell, obviously, your father, grandfather, grandfather, and grandfather. So 5 generations and above. Can somebody tell a name? Names. Or mother, grandmother generations. More than 5, sir. Then only you will say. Anyone? Or at least equal to 5. I can't go. I'm 4. I'm stuck at 4. I'm sure we all are stuck at 4. So if a family tree, sir, we are not even talking about hierarchical model and all, sir. Our simple 4 generations or 5 generations from family tree, we are not able to remember. Systems in those days were not fast. Please understand, sir. Systems nowadays are fast, but not in those days. So what happened is when data intensity increased, sir, these hierarchical model could not sustain. When data was increasing, right, this model was like a flop model, did not work out well. It was performing very slowly. So searching for data was taking too much time when more data is there. When less data is there, this model is perfect. But when more amount of data you are storing in the database, sir, this hierarchical model could not take the load because of the hardware in those days. Okay. Now, so 1 minute, sir. Please don't think it's a model alone, sir. It's not a model alone. There was a software that was made by IBM. System 2000 is the software name. They made a software, working model. So somebody proposed an idea, sir, like store data in the tree structure. And they made a software called System 2000, but somehow it did not get that recognition. Can I move to the next model, sir? Hey, so please, you know, I am telling you all, the story is being told so that you understand the story, history of databases, nothing more than that, sir. Not to waste time or something. Second model, sir, network model. In network model, they said, hey, tree structure cancel, cancel the tree structure. Let's go for network structure. First record will connect to the second record, I mean, first customer information. We will create a link to the second customer link to the third customer, meaning, sir, it's like a network model, something like that. So I am not born in 1960s to tell you how that database model works. So I'm not aware. So, but sir, just history speaks. Go to Google and search, you'll find. But this also, sir, pointer model. So first one, second one, third one. Now again, 1 minute. If you have 1 crore records, if you want to search that data, sir, you have to travel on this network and go there. This also caused same issue. Network model also could not, searching of records was taking too much time because the network link is there. You have to travel through entire link and go to that record. And again, the hardware issue at that time did not make it successful. So network model also, like, okay, so simple searching, it's okay, but complex searching failed. So now, so can I ask you a simple question, sir? What is the big challenge between in hierarchical model and network model? Both models, what was the main problem, you tell me, for not being successful?
Not storing more data.
Correct, right? So the direct answer, because you are storing more data. When large volumes of data you were storing, they were not able to sustain. Small volumes, they were okay. So large is the problem. More data is the problem, sir. Then came Star, Godfather, and said, hey, let's do this. So Mr. E.F. Cod. So I'll talk about this slide later. Let's go to the next slide and again come back. So he was the person who proposed a model called RDBMS, relational DBMS. Sir. First one is hierarchical DBMS. Second is network DBMS, network model. And third one is, the third one in the sense, successful one. The most successful one is RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So there are some more things which I can talk, but I'm filtering and speaking, sir, so things are easy. So Mr. E.F. Cod, Edgar Frank Ted Cod, also called as E.F. Cod in short, 1923, 2003. He was a British computer scientist. Okay. He worked for IBM, obviously, because at that time, IBM was the biggest company in the world, you know it. And so then he proposed, or he invented, the relational model for database management. What did they say, sir? So please just take 2 minutes and cautious and read, and then we are done. The relational model says that it was a seminar paper. It's a thesis. It's just a paper, theoretical paper. And he said the paper name was what, sir? Double quoted, a relational model of data for, stop, sir, till there it is okay. What attracted people's mind was large shared data bank. He said, like, you store how much ever complex data you want, this model will work. I repeat, sir, a relational model of data for large shared data banks. The word large attracted everyone. And again, look at this paper. Which year was it published? 1970. Say paper, sir, not software. Paper was submitted in 1970. And everybody got gaga and they wanted to see, oh, what the hell is this? And the world started talking about it. So in 1970, so-called RDBMS started evolving. And so then these companies like Oracle, IBM, invested huge brain and they started making databases. Microsoft was not that, because you know it. Now Microsoft started in which year, sir? 1985. 85 also they were working with IBM for making operating systems, not database. I think 87 or 89, I think, sir. 89. I'm sorry, I forgot the year. When was it? One. Microsoft venture with Sybase.
92.
Just check. 1988. So 1970, RDBMS was announced in the market. So meaning after 18 years, these guys have come. But sir, can I ask you all again a Google question, please? Which year Oracle started, sir? Can somebody Google and tell me which year Oracle company started? Just Google, sir. Oracle's started which year? The Oracle is one company who started their base with as database. So you didn't find?
1977.
1977.
Got it right, sir? So you got your answer. Oracle as an organization. 1977, they officially were announced. That means few years of effort would have been there with them. Not 1977 they make, right? So before that, they would have first did some research and all. So Oracle is one company and IBM is also one company who were from the beginning on databases. Sir. Just clarifying to all of you. Okay, done. Moving on. That's our completed discussion done. So what E.F. Cod said in his seminar paper is, hey, I am giving 12 rules. Rule 1, the 12 rules start with rule 0, by the way. Rule 0, rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That means actual rules are 13. But normally it's called as Cod's 12 rules, but starts with the rule 0 and ends with rule 12. So total 13 rules there are. What are these rules? He said that if you follow my rules and make a software, so what are those rules? I'll show you 2 minutes. If you follow my rules and make a database software, And if your software is following my rules, which I proposed, then I will call your software as RDBMS. So Pooja, you started research, for example, from your side, you and your team or your friends in college itself, for example, and you started making, because rules you read, following the rules, you made a software. Now, for example, so initially COD said, so please read. Initially COD said that at least 6 rules must match. If at least 6 rules are matching, I will call your software as RDBMS. But later, sir, all the so-called IBM, Oracle, once they expertised the software, they made it better. Now, mostly all 12 rules are followed. Nowadays, the softwares that we are using, they follow all the rules. COD's perfect RDBMS has evolved. But initial days, sir, all rules were not followed. I'm sorry, I did not see some questions in the chat. Answer. Okay, Mohit, thank you, sir. 1977. Okay, so that's it, sir. So you think you understood the story now. So look at this. COD was the first person who said that. So what are COD rules then? What are COD rules? Okay, let's move out of the slide, sir. Okay. You have COD 12 rules. Yeah. 1 minute. Yeah. So the COD rule says first one, so rule 0. Hey, this RDBMS exam in your college now. This is not a DBMS or RDBMS paper. My intent is to so I'm not going to show all the 12 rules by the way. The first 2 or 3 rules we are going to read. If you are so interested, I'll share this link, so later on you read it. If you really are interested. First one, rule 0, foundation rule. So the foundation rule says that any relational database system, okay, that is propounded to be RDBMS, if you want to call it RDBMS, okay, then should be able to manage the stored data, the data that you are storing in its entirety through a relational capability. Meaning, sir, you should not talk to database directly. You should talk to what? The DBMS. From there only it will go down to database and it will take care, right? It's the same concept, sir. You should follow my rules. So rule 0 is follow my rules. Yeah, there's nothing there. Then let's go for rule 1. Rule of information. So relational databases should store data in the form of relations, meaning, sir, tables. So COD was the one to say that store. COD was the one to tell that store data in the form of tables. Tables will contain rows and columns, right? Columns, rows. So he was the one to propose this idea. Array KD, what is there to propose rows? And for us, it is nothing nowadays, but maybe at that time it could be something. So he proposed and said that store data in the form of rows and columns, one table, another table. Between tables also, we will create relationship. That's why this concept is called as RDBMS. And sir, he also said that there will be actual data and there will be metadata. More about this is coming up in our future, sir, not right now. There will be data, there will be metadata. Sir, Virat Kohli, how many hundreds? Centuries?
71.
Go. Instant answer. Sachin Tendulkar, how many hundreds? Centuries? 100. This I also know, you know, because I don't watch cricket. I don't watch cricket even. I don't watch cricket at all. So anyway, sir, so that answer I also know. But how? Sir, all this is metadata stored in your mind. You did not go and count every cricket match of Sachin, obviously not. So technically speaking, if you have data, there will be metadata. If you have a table, let's say there's a table, employee number, employee name, salary, and all these columns, there will be metadata. How many columns are there for this table? How many rows are there in this table? Okay, so if I'm confusing you more, let's talk later. Let us do some demos and then it will make sense. So I will not continue reading this one because we are not here for programming purpose. So, but just want to let you know that like this rules, COD has proposed 12 rules or total 13 rules. And he said that make software following my rules. If your software meets my rules, I will call your software as RDBMS. And sir, there was no look back. Sir, 1970 se leke till now, sir. How many years?
52.
How many?
52.
Sir, still no look back. Awesome. The world is happy. Of course, sir. Different types of other databases came, but the world is happy. Relational databases are ruling the world still. Of course, Facebook, some platforms are not using relational databases. They are using NoSQL databases, which we'll talk in future. I will show you. But sir, a new type of databases have evolved in the last 5-10 years. But sir, 50 years strong, still strong, sir. Relational databases. That's it. Okay, done, sir. That's all. Nothing much to say. I'll not waste your time anymore. Let's go back, sir. So CORD's 12 rules is the story. Any questions? So data must be stored in the form of tables. Tables must have relationship between them. These are the rules that he has proposed. Degree of the table, meaning how many columns you have. If the table has 10 columns, employee number, employee name, salary, department, date of birth, date of joining, if you count them, degree of the table is nothing but how many columns you have. 10 columns you have, degree of the table is 10, like that. 5 columns you have, degree of the table is 5. So that kind of thing. So let's move on. So now, this is the story I wanted to tell you, sir. So after RDBMS came, many companies came forward, Oracle, IBM and all that, or Microsoft joined that race little late in that, but again, still, though they joined the race late, today they are great. That's it. Number one, of course.
Really, one question here, like you talked about the 4 models, right? The hierarchical model, network model,
Object model.
and object model. So is XML part of object model or no?
Is what, sir?
XML.
XML is part of which model?
Object model.
It's definitely part of the object model, I think so. But yeah, maybe yes. I may have to check it, but yeah. And the object model is there's actually a 4th one which we are not talking because object model is nothing but object oriented. OOPS concepts are integrated. Some of you might be knowing OOPS concept. Some of you might not be knowing. That's why I removed it from the slides. So yeah, one more model is also there. Enhancements to relational model. Enhancements to relational model is object oriented relational model. OORDBMS, object oriented relational database model. Okay. Cut, sir. Some of you are feeling a bit sleepy. I can understand. Let's move on. Let's move on. Hey, I really want, so the reason why I ask you to be on camera is one more, so this one, so that I can connect with you. So by the way, I don't know how to show you, but I have 3 monitors. 1, 2, 3rd. I turned off the 3rd one because most of you are not on camera. So I can put a 4th one also if I really need, because I need to watch you all. Very important for me. Unfortunately, we are stuck by COVID yet. Life is coming back to normalcy, but still people like online learning. Some of you might want classroom learning. Some of you might want online learning. We are working on our classroom model again still, but we solidly want that life is completely normal, then only, sir, because we don't want to take a risk of putting somebody's life at stake. And life is most important. We have seen it in the last 2 years, how precious it is. We lost many of our families and years and years. So we have to be careful. So sir, at least in the online style, we have to be as much engaging as we can. I want to see you. So 1 hour, 15 minutes, can't we be on camera? Come on. If you're off camera for 1 hour, not being constantly on camera for 1 hour, 15 minutes means something is wrong. So we have to make a habit. So if you are not feeling comfortable, don't stick to that position, sir. Please, walk. So you keep the camera on, just walk here and there. I'll turn off for some time, walk and come back and again sit. But 1 hour, 15 minutes is still okay, is my opinion. Okay, so moving on now. So anyways, now you know the story, history of RDBMS, DBMS, where it started, why it started, which companies came, when and where. So story got story is done. So now it's time to move on with the installation. So today night, tomorrow we'll start the installations. But before starting installation, I also want to tell you that. So wantedly, I am showing you SQL Server 2008, correct? But KD, what nonsense? You should be showing us SQL Server 2019. That's the latest version. Why are you showing 2008? So first of all, I want to talk about editions. Editions of SQL Server. 1 second. Versions, you know. What the hell is edition? So when you purchase a bike or a car, there are different editions of a bike or a car. Like what? 150cc, 200cc, 250cc. Nowadays, you are going into 300cc, bullet 350cc. So technically, the more cc's you have, cubic capacity or something, I don't know. But performance also will vary, right? So for lower cc's, you get lower performance. For higher cc's, you get higher performance. If you take a car example, for lower model car, you get less features. For higher model car, you get more features. That's it. That's a business strategy of selling. Same way, Microsoft also sells with the same business strategy. Oracle also is same. What are the editions available? So if you really read the all editions, right? In 2008, SQL Server 2008, oh my God, Microsoft confused customers with so many options. More choice is more spoiling the customers, technically speaking. Too much of choice is also confusing many a times. Go to a theater, see how strategical these people are. You also might be knowing this. Small popcorn, 320 rupees. Medium popcorn, 340 rupees. Large popcorn, 360 rupees. Tub, 400 rupees. And then definitely customer knows what to purchase, and they also know what to sell. And the typical strategy. So there's a Think School. So I'm sure you all know this YouTube channel called Think School. Whenever you find time, go and read it. It's nice. Think School. They exploit all the strategies of businesses. So I don't know. So I forgot that name. There's a name for this model, meaning making customer. So you're not convincing customer for 400. Sorry, you are convincing customer for 400 by. When you see 320, 340, 360, 400, you feel like 400 is cheap, but actually 400 is not cheap. So anyways, sir, back on note, Microsoft doesn't do that cheating here. Microsoft will not do that cheating. Reasons. Enterprise edition. So there are a lot of editions. I'm not even reading those names. Let's read main editions. Enterprise edition is the top edition. You get all features in it, everything in it. Top-notch version, top-notch edition is enterprise. Next one is standard edition. Sir. Of course, some features will go away. Some things you will not get. Hardware-wise also, sir. Capability-wise, performance-wise, you will see some degradation. So standard edition, enterprise edition are two editions. Next one, sir. Free. Free. But nothing comes free in this world. Express edition is free, sir, but free to an extent. What they say is, we'll give you this SQL Server free, but you cannot store the data. You cannot store data more than 10 GB. What do you mean by free then? 10 GB means that 10 GB is nothing, 10 GB is like nothing. If you really want to store real data, so 10 GB is nothing, literally nothing. Okay, so Express edition. Then developer edition so these are for testing purpose. Let's say, Lavanya, you want to explore SQL Server. You don't want to use it for business. You want to, what do you say? Evaluate. You want to test. You want to explore. You want to see how it is. Then go for developer edition. By the way, developer edition is also free, sir. Already free, but you can't use it for business. For business, you can't use. KD, I will take a personal PC. Laptop, install SQL. Will Microsoft come and see my system? Okay, if that is your question, so then wait, we will talk later. Tomorrow onwards, we'll continue these conversations. Evaluation edition is also free, sir. Developer edition is also free. What is the difference? We'll talk tomorrow, but these are nothing but, why did I quote only red colors, especially? The choice is too much. Latest version, 2019, you don't have that many editions. latest version 2019. Oh, you want proof? Okay, then let me cancel this. Google for SQL Server 2019. Go to the Microsoft, go to that respective Microsoft website. Yeah, sir. Just a minute. One minute. Sir. I'll just show something. So try SQL Server 2019. 1 minute, sir. Come on. No. So bear with me for a second. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. Okay, maybe I should Google the right word. 1 minute. SQL Server 2019 licensing guide. 1 minute, sir, please. I'll show you. Sir, this is simply a 42-page document. You're not going to read it, obviously. I will show things of it later. But if you scroll down, you tell me what are the editions available. Enterprise edition, standard edition. I told you, right, sir? Only 2 are available. Microsoft simplified the game. Earlier, 8 variants they have given, but now it is just basic 2, enterprise and standard. So don't worry about why these many are there. What is the purpose of each and all? Ignore it, sir. Next one. If you can scroll down a little more. So look at this standard edition, enterprise edition. Tomorrow's discussion is this. Tomorrow we'll talk about this one. So of course, you also have what's up? Developer edition. I told you, right? And then we also have Express edition. We also have evaluation edition. So we have total these many editions in SQL Server. So depending on how much performance you want, depending on how much cost you can bear, you can go with the respective editions. That's all. Any questions anybody have can ask, else the class is officially done for the day. Up to 2017, developer edition also was charged. So yeah, so put the question in the direct, because sending me a direct message, please put it for everyone so that everybody sees the question in the chat. So yeah, up to, sir, look at this. Tomorrow we'll talk about this one, sir. Developer edition is free from SQL Server 2016. Again, sir, keep your mind versions. 19, 17, 16, 14, 12. So from SQL Server 2016 onwards, last 3 versions, 19, 17, 16, right? Last 3 versions, developer edition is free. Before 3 versions, the developer edition was paid. You have to pay money to explore, but now they made it free. Yeah. So licensing top. Oh, no, Ramesh. We are yet to talk about licensing topics, sir. We didn't even start. So we are starting from tomorrow. See, I can show you. So the next topic is licensing, which is coming up. We'll talk. Okay. So, sir, first of all, editions of SQL Server is what I just introduced names to you. What is enterprise edition? What is standard edition? Tomorrow we will see. With that, the class is done. Any questions? Good. So at least you saw the history, right? So why we discussed all this? Just to go back and read through the history, we had to do this discussion. Who started, where it started, why it started. That information is very important before starting any journey, sir. Knowing the past is pretty much valuable. So you know now how much of important databases are to the world. RDBMS made that possible, and people love databases. And now after RDBMS came, other databases also came, NoSQL and few others, but ignore that. But let's talk about RDBMS. Our course is all about RDBMS and SQL Server. With that being said, sir, let's reconnect. Yeah, I watched this movie called Major yesterday. So it was nice. We liked it. It was yeah, made as it is. They did not add any masala to the movie. They made Major Unnikrishnan's story as is. So I'm sure some of you would have seen it. It's in Hindi, it's in Telugu, it's in Malayalam dubbed. So these are the languages. I like the movie. I'll share a photo in our group after the class. We went for this movie. I wanted to see the picture. I'll share in the group. Answer?
Thank you, KD.
Okay, then let's reconnect tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Signing off, sir. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Jerry. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.